There she comes. Good morning again. I'm not sure how much of the initial welcome I gave you got. We had a bit of trouble with the audio, possibly another asteroid hitting a satellite or something like that, but at least you got to see a magnificent sunrise. So welcome again to this beautiful morning at Djuma on Arathusa in South Africa, the greatest country in the world, of course. We are just driving down the road here checking for tracks, hopefully possibly a male leopard. There were some wild dogs in the area yesterday, so maybe we'll pick up on their tracks. We've got Andrew behind the camera, we've got Brian and Brent looking for lions further south on the reserve, and we've got Will and Tara and Eugene in the control room. And from the whole team at Wild Earth, we're really happy to have you with us, and please feel free to send us your questions, your requests, your comments to the Twitter handle #SafariLive or questions at WildEarthTV. So for the moment, while the sun continues to come up and starts to warm our backs, we're going to head west and northwest down this road and see what happened in the night. The roads are a beautiful sort of storybook of what happens during the night in the bush when we're all asleep. Okay, here we go. So I don't think you heard this last time, but the night was fairly quiet last night. The odd hooting hyena. And this morning, very early when I got up, I heard the low grunt of what initially I thought to be a lion, but was in fact a flock of highly endangered ground hornbills. And I'm not sure if you've seen any of them. They're enormous sort of black turkey-like birds, and they often call sort of before the horizon turns that sort of soft blue color in the pre-dawn. And they've got a very deep call, which sounds a little bit like a lioness on the hunt. Well done to all of you on the tree, those who took part in our little tree quiz yesterday. I've yet to find a species that I can stump you with. I'm going to continue with that, and eventually I'll find something that somebody doesn't know. But so far you've proved me all wrong, which is excellent. Not sure how many of you have actually been to Africa, but hopefully this will inspire and allow you to come and see the great continent that we call home. Quite astonishing, the technology now that allows us to come basically onto your desk from most magnificent wilderness in southern Africa. Ooh. And Andrew has just spotted a huge bird. You can see him there. Looks like a Djuma or African harrier hawk. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly what he is. The Djuma or African harrier hawk is not a particularly pleasant bird if you happen to be a small bird. Now look, if you can see what he's looking at, he's got his head in what is probably a tree hole nest. And the Djuma got what we call a double jointed intertarsus, which means basically the knee joint on his leg bends both ways, so that he can reach into holes, nests and holes where chicks of hole nesting birds might be living. And there he goes. And his feet, because the knee joint bends both ways, can explore any tree cavity there might be. Spotted, Andrew.
Thank you.
Really nice and warm up here on the crest, and the flow of air that we get in the night time is just sort of reversing. It's called katabatic flow, when the warm air of the day comes up the slopes and the cold air of the night sort of sinks down into the depressions. Off to the west, in front of the vehicle there, we've got the Drakensberg Mountains. You can just see the outline. I'm just going to ask Andrew to zoom in there as far as he can. They're pretty hazy this morning. But over there we have South Africa's world famous Drakensberg Mountains, just beyond the sort of last line of the horizon that you can see there. I can see them, but I don't think you can see them on the camera. There was a warthog. He's gone. Bad luck, sorry, we missed him. He had no tail, so obviously he's had a fairly shocking existence thus far. And those Drakensberg Mountains extend more than I think it's about 2,500 kilometers from basically where we can see them here down into the eastern highlands of the Eastern Cape. So out in the region that we are now, it's called the low veld, which means low land basically, or low bush. And we sit at about 450 meters above sea level, which in feet is probably about 1,400 feet. And up on the mountains there, the highest point is probably about 1,800 meters above sea level, so more than a mile. In Belfast and Johannesburg is a mile high city. It's like Denver, Colorado. Aye, minjani emhlabeni? Ngivukile, amkhumanga inthumo namuhla.
Lokhu matinyari kwala nje.
Okay, ngibonga. And that's one of the game guards. Obviously, very important function that they have in this area. Of poachers, and in this area they seem to have very successfully shut down on a lot of the illegal poaching that was going on. Activity, a lot of it has to do with activity that exists around African areas, and so often people will come in and hunt food for the pot. Major issue, but it's something that we have to be aware of always. We're going to cross over to Brent now. He was on some lion tracks. I'm not sure what he's doing now. In fact, with Brent, you seldom know. We're going to cross over into his vehicle, and I'll see you just now.
Morning, everyone. Welcome on the Sunrise Safari. My name's Brent. I have Brian and the Thumb on camera, and it's really good to be out in this crisp early morning. It's about 16 degrees Celsius, which is about 60 Fahrenheit. We've had a quite an interesting morning so far. We found tracks of a pride of lions. I'm not sure which pride. Unfortunately, they crossed over our southern boundary. I'm now just trying to decipher what's going on here. I've got male and female leopard tracks on the same place. They're walking one way and walking the other. I'm going to show you the tracks shortly. But just if there's anyone new, we are live, so you are seeing what we are seeing in real time at the same time as us, and we are interactive. So you can send us emails and send us questions via email and via Twitter while we're out here, and you can do that by using the email address at WildEarthTV, and or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. So I'm going to get a shot of these tracks for you. But there's just tracks going in every which direction, and I'm trying to figure out which is the most fresh. I'm just going to scoop on. I think the ones going back behind us are the most fresh, and now there's others coming this way now. Oh, just for confusion's sake. There's the male track coming up on the left, and the female track's on the right. So I'm not just trying to figure out what's going on here. There's a lot of up and downs by these leopards at the moment. What I will try to do is show you the two tracks next to each other, so you can see which is the male and which is the female, and the size difference between them. I see that female track there is on top of the civets and other small animals that are nocturnal, so I think that's probably going to be the most fresh. So I'm just going to show you where we've got both tracks together. Too close?
No, never close.
Okay. Change the angle a bit like that. Oh, I still just a little bit too close still. I'm gonna point them out, and then I'll come back to the vehicle to speak. So I don't know if you could see that. The male track was so much bigger. It almost was wide as 4 of my fingers together, whereas the female track was only about 2.5 of my fingers together. So there's really confusing tracks here. They're going in every which direction. So we're just going to try and decipher what's going on here. At is there's a couple of nocturnal species that have been on this road as well, and I'm looking for the track that is on top of animals like civets and thickneys. Chuck those off there. And she turns around. I think those tracks we're following down there that were on top of the civet tracks look to be the most fresh. That was of the female. The male seems to cross the road right here. Also, the male tracks head off across the road. The male tracks look like they're probably slightly earlier in the day. I mean, in the evening last night. So I think the female tracks, they definitely seem to be the most fresh out of the two sets. Giving me the go around this morning, these tracks. Now I've just got civet tracks. Well, looks like there's been something up ahead here. Yep, just hippopotami. I don't have any tracks now, so I think possibly going to have to head back into that area with that pandemonium of tracks and try to figure out which is the last direction that female went. I'm going to check a bit further down this road, just in case she's popped off and popped on. But so far the only tracks we've got in this area are civet.
Heading north and going to get a shortcut. Can't see where they go from there. I think they head off in the west direction. About 400 meters south of the coastline. I'll follow for a while.
There definitely seems to be some interesting ongoings with our leopard population at the moment. Very strange tracks, and a lot of them are covering big distances. We tracked a female leopard yesterday that literally walked from the western corner right across to the eastern corner.
Pretty early last night.
Apparently there's quite a bit of chatter about my gloves or mitts. As I said, it's about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which for a lot of our viewers is probably a balmy, warm day. But for us bush boys, we don't do well in the cold generally, and me especially. So these are my beginning of winter gloves. They're just nice little warm mitts. But I'm sure as it comes closer to June and July, you'll see me wearing skiing gloves. I really don't like my fingers getting cold in the early mornings on game drive, and I'd rather be warm than tough. My dad has a saying he uses quite often, it's tough being tough, and I'd rather be warm. Sunrise Safari here at Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands, South Africa. Brenda would like to, could the tracks be of a female and her cub? I don't think so, Brenda. Definitely adult female and an adult male. So definitely not a female and cub. And those tracks look to be slightly different ages. So what's probably happened is there's a scent mark in that area, and they've both stopped to smell each other's scent marks. Susie, welcome on Sunrise Friday. Susie would like to see the civet track, and there's some nice civet tracks right next to us there. So even though it looks like a cat track, it is not. I'm going to show you quickly.
Choose one.
Let's go on. So you can see there, I've put a piece of grass across the back pad. So on a civet track, one of the ways to tell that it's not a smaller cat, apart from the fact it's only got two lobes at the back. I actually think I'm going to move it to the other track. It's better to see. There we go. So with a civet, if you take a nice straight piece of grass and you put it across the track, where the back toes end is almost always exactly in the middle, so it cuts the track in half. And if you look at cat tracks and that, the toes are far more forward, so they'll only cut about a quarter, not even a quarter, of the top part of the track, where those two side toes, the back end of them. So that's one of the ways to tell that it's not a small cat. So we're just going to check down to this road junction. If we get no luck here, we're going to head back up to where all that mess of tracks were. Welcome on Sunrise Safari. Jody would like to know, is that mist we're seeing in the distance in the trees? It is, Jody. In the cold mornings, out here we do get quite a bit of mist. Sometimes it can be very, very thick. At the moment, just a light sprinkling. James.
Standing by.
I'm pretty sure I've got tracks of that animal you're following.
Roger the area.
Can we confirm near the gate? So we're going to try and figure out what's happening with these leopards, and in the meantime we're going to cross over to James and see what he's been up to, and we'll be back with you a little later. James, confirm that dumping ground near the Gari gate.
Affirmative, the dumping ground near the Gari gate, and I'm now heading south.
Copy, that could be different sets then from the one we're following. We've got male and female tracks on Gari Main near the Shabam, so near the Weaver's Nest junction. Tracks are heading up and down the road. We're just trying to figure out which way they cross.
Yeah, you can cross.
Welcome back to Wendy, everyone. We've just picked up some fairly fresh tracks of a big male leopard. He's heading down sort of south in towards the reserve, so we're going to follow up on that and see what we can find. Please excuse the radio there. And we haven't seen much as yet, but it is the most glorious morning. So we're hoping these tracks don't cross out of the reserve. We're quite close to our western boundary, and this road heads off into some thick bush, so we're going to go around the side here. You do hear a bit of noise. We're near the game warden's house. Nice to live in this sort of area where you can have leopards walking past your garden every day. And then we'll see what we can see. Any questions or suggestions, especially about which animal? I'm quite new to the area, so about which animals these could be, which leopards could be, tend to or questions about it.
So we're heading back into this area where we last had those tracks, and we're just going to try and figure out exactly what's going on. Fingers crossed that they have stayed or gone north onto Vuyatela, and they haven't crossed south. So we're just checking very carefully. I'm trying to make sure I haven't missed a track. The last track I had that was on top of the civet tracks was around here, a little bit further past the hippo tracks. It is like a big puzzle. You've got to sort of sift through the pieces. Actually, maybe puzzle's not the correct word. Like a mystery. You've got to unravel all the little pieces. Here we go. Here's a female track. Now I'm not 100% sure which way she went. Because from here we don't have any tracks again. So she's definitely left the road in this vicinity. So I'm just going to park the vehicle facing up the road so you can see what I'm up to while I try just figure out which way this female leopard has gone. And also, guys, you must just listen carefully. You never know. While we're sitting here, I want you to try to listen to all the sounds. It's a very still morning, so if there are any alarm calls and that, we might be able to pick them up on the microphones. So I'm just going to take a minute or two. I'm just going to be walking around in front of the vehicle, just trying to figure out which way that this leopard went.
Yeah, stations just had a Ingwe coloring, probably sort of western side of the 90s road, Gary Main, Triple M, somewhere in that direction.
Confirm that audio is west of the 90s road.
Yeah, affirmative. I'm not sure if it's still at William Teller side. It might have been on the other side of Triple M.
Okay, copy, thanks.
Well, unfortunately, after all that, it looks like she has crossed to the south. So we're going to leave the area, maybe head down towards our eastern boundary, and see if we can find any tracks or anything in that area. Crossed the road in this mitre drain here, heading to the south, and we've checked all the way down towards Twin Dams, and she hasn't popped out onto the road again. Those male tracks cross also in this area, so I think it's time to move on. We've tried our best to find these tracks, but unfortunately we can't follow them any further. A valuable experience tracking an animal. You can never ever track enough to become good enough, in my opinion. You always learn something each time you track, and I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. I should have seen where those tracks left a bit earlier. They were just so fresh and I was a little bit too excited. Festa lenta, rush slowly. My art teacher used to tell me that, so I tend sometimes go a little bit too quickly. I'm just going to have a chat with one of the game drive vehicles here as we're continuing on. So if you hear me talking, that's what I'll be doing. names? Nice to meet you, Stefan. Are you guys going? No, just lots of tracks. There's been a male and female leopard here that have been up and down. Now they've crossed into here. We are actually conducting a live game drive at the moment. You can have a look online. It's WildSafariLive.com, and so with people watching us, we take them on game drive twice a day.
Out of the air and the fresh. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Enjoy, guys. We'll see you later. If anyone's sort of signed in a little bit late this morning, just so that you know, we've been following up on tracks of a male and a female leopard. Unfortunately, they have crossed south. We're following tracks from Powder Lions. Unfortunately, they crossed south. But don't worry, our luck has to change eventually. Next week, all the tracks are going to be crossing north. Taz. Guys, as I'm going down this hill, we might experience a little bit of breakup of signal. So I'm not going to speak till we've got through the bottom. On that little patch there, we tend to get a bit of signal breakup, but it's normally quite stable down here, and that temperature has actually dropped quite considerably as we've come down from the top of the hill down towards the drainage system, and I'm even regretting taking my gloves off at the moment, but it'll warm up again as we go up the other side. A lot of cat movement happening at the moment. We're just trying to. It's going to be very interesting to figure out all the comings and goings in the next couple of months. Lion! Nice, Brian! There, we've got lions, guys! So I was busy putting my glove on. And we've now found, it looks like I can see a lioness on the road and a nice big male next to us. Good spot, Brian. He looks like he's definitely on a mission. Looks like one of the Matimba males. The lioness is walking away from us up the road. Stations, whatever. Male and female Ngala on Gari Main, just to the east of the Molwati crossing. Oh, it has another male. Yeah, the two Matimbas. You can see there's behind him the lioness in the road. Guys, which female do you think this possibly is with these two males? Which pride? She's now turned around, she's coming down the road. So we'll get a nice look at her shortly. So So we're on our southern boundary, quite close to Twin Dams. So which female do you think this, or which pride do you think this female belongs to? You can hear the guinea fowl shouting at her. Just keeping my eyes on the males. It looks like they might head off the road. So you can send your answers about which... Was there a second one there? Yes, there is, just popping out. Which pride of females do you think this is? I can see 2 lionesses now. And you can send your answers to questions at WildEarthTV or use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Oh, very upset guinea fowl. They definitely look like they're looking for something at the moment, these 2 males that are marching both sides of the road.
Where are you now? I'm on my
So we're just sitting still at the moment trying to figure out. Oh, we got one of the big boys is lying down. So the girls look very interested in something up there. I'm just going to head towards them. See, just as I was saying, our Cadillac had to change all the tracks. Some of the tracks are going to have to be coming north. Let's have a look quickly up the road there. Behind there's guinea fowl and the lioness. You can hear those guinea fowl going crazy, alarming. And unfortunately, it looks like they're about to cross our boundary. If we have a look at this nice big boy next to us, if we have a look closely at his face, you can see there's quite a few scars and scratches, and that is unfortunately what male lions will have to do a lot of. They fight to keep other males out of their territory, but also when they feed, they'll fight with each other, so it's quite possible those could actually be from one of his coalition member or the pride. But also they will fight for mating rights over females between the coalition members.
Yeah, stations. I think the English that I heard crossed your line. Crossing over.
And looks, I can hear that other male walking around in the drainage line behind us.
Can I come in?
Shantara, where you hear that in recording? Yeah, west of Solonati. I'm on Triple Main now. Probably about 100 meters.
I can see one of the lionesses still, but barely. I'm just going to sit here with this guy. He's watching what that other coalition member's up to. He's walking up and down in the drainage line behind us, about to come back out into the road behind us. So I just heard a lot of you guys think it's the Styx females. That is a very good guess where we are now. They do, this is sort of the right on the edge of their territory. We have seen them around Twin Dams and in this area a few times. So yes, I would probably think it's the 6 females. Remember, one of those females has 3 little cubs at the moment. They obviously, I don't think they're definitely not with them this morning, but in a couple of weeks they should start moving with the lionesses. See where that other guy went? Oh, he's still there. Confirm, did any stations copy my updates about Bengala? And yeah, all the birds are very upset to have these predators in their vicinity. Move quickly to get a view. Actually, you just lost my ears for a second there. Look at that, isn't that magnificent? Definitely looking for something, and it's not the girls. I wonder if possibly there's that very small pride of lions called the Shimungwe pride that is originally from very far south and west of us, that is been chased by the Majinga lions, and a lot of the members have been killed, and they sort of just arrived up here in the north. Oh, there we go. Boys on the move. So he just passed probably a meter from Brian, the back of the vehicle there. And now I'm wondering if possibly that second lioness isn't coming into estrus or a false estrus. There we can see the lioness on the road. But it is they're definitely looking for something. They're on a mission.
I just have that maybe just from the west.
So I'll try and get up ahead of them as soon as I get the chance. Texan or Aubrey coming? Tex, did you copy my updates about Ngala? I've got 2 sticks and Djuma timbers, Gari main heading east towards Cheetah Cut Line.
Yeah, I'm not there. Come that time, we'll just double check that. Maybe that might just going west instead of coming east, I don't know.
So there we go, that's really, really nice behavior. He smelt where the other coalition member has urinated, and he's what it's called a phlegm reaction, and basically at the top of that lion's mouth, and even at the top of our mouths, there's that small hole that you can feel. It's called a Jacobson's organ. And what they're doing there is he draws the scent over that organ, and that will give him a whole bunch of information. And you'll see lots of animals do it, dogs, cats, horses, and lions, obviously. And there he is licking the other coalition member's urine. And that grimace is basically the phlegm reaction, and that is taking the urine over the Jacobson's organ. So I can't see where the 2 lionesses went, but they are up ahead of the front male. So I'm going to try to find a spot where I can zoot up ahead of them. but I don't think these are the same line tracks I was following earlier. There were more lines in that pride. There were about 4 in the, judging from those tracks. Oh, sorry, but there weren't any big male tracks there. Where there's obviously these 2 will leave monster-sized tracks about the size of my hand. So I'm just going to try and get up ahead quickly. Looks like they are crossing north. So probably that means that 2 lionesses have crossed north. The male up ahead of us has just crossed north into our side. From Wisconsin, welcome on the Sunset Safari and Sunrise Safari, sorry, and we're basically with these at the moment with 2 male lions that are walking up our southern boundary.
In that direction, I think.
And then we'd like to know what are the ages? Can we tell the ages of these male lions? Liz, can we tell the ages of these male lions? We're just going to keep quite still now. You might walk very, very close to the vehicle. And if we look at him carefully now, you can see he's definitely a nice, large adult male.
Yeah, it was in the way. Missed it.
So I'm just going to move again. As far as I know, these 2 males are around 12 years old, and that's because there's a lot of information on the lions in the Sabi Sands, and they are followed quite extensively. But if we didn't have all that information, I would probably just, and we'll chat about that now when we can have a look at one of their faces. Just by looking at them, I would have guessed them to be around 10. They are sort of big male lions, and they are a bit older, and you can see that with their manes and the scars and stuff on their faces, and they are probably coming towards the end of their reign. So male lion coalitions are normally dominant for about 4 years, 4 to 5 years depending on the size. And the reason for this is to keep genetic diversity. So they sort of get pushed out at around 3.5 years old from their natal prides, and then they'll wander around quite frequently, and they'll meander between the different pride territories, trying to avoid big coalition males like this. And that's where coalitions are quite often formed. While these young males are wandering around trying to avoid these big boys, they will meet up, and sometimes it can take a couple of days or even a couple of weeks before unrelated male lions are comfortable with each other, and that is how the coalition is formed. So I can see the 2 lionesses up ahead of us, and these guys are definitely going to follow them. So I'm going to try and get up ahead to where the girls are. And so back to the male lion coalition. So these sorry, he was just cleaning his nails and scratching that terminalia. just going to carry on to jump ahead of them to get to where the ladies are. So these male line coalitions are dominant for about 4 to 5 years, depending, and that's sort of 2 cycles of cubs. Sometimes they will start breeding with their daughters, and that's the reason that they are ousted after 4 to 5 years at the top by new coalitions, new blood, and that helps with the genetic diversity in lions. Even though lions do inbreed, and it doesn't have as much effect as it would say in humans. There we've got some. They found some hippo dung, which lions quite often like to roll in. There's a lot of speculation about why. Personally, I think they just like it. I don't think it has any sort of special reason that they're trying to mask their scent while hunting or anything like that. I think they just like the smell. So having a look here, this definitely looks like the 2 Styx lionesses. I'm trying to see, we can see the one standing up at the moment. She is lactating, you can see that quite clearly on her nipples there. So it'll be quite nice when she decides to start moving the cubs, and hopefully she brings them up this side. I just need to check the radio quickly. Hi Steph, and welcome on the Sunrise Safari. Steph's quite interested to know why, where the cubs, why aren't they looking for the cubs? Well Steph, what happens with a lioness with cubs is she will hide them away once she's away hunting, either in a drainage line or a thicket, and that's, or in a rocky outcrop. As far as I know, she has been keeping them in the Mawati in a small dry drainage line with quite a lot of thickets on it, and she will sometimes leave them for 2 or 3 days before returning for them to feed, and she might introduce the cubs a bit earlier because there's only her and another lioness in the pride. There's only 2 of them, but normally they will keep the cubs away for the first couple of months before introducing them into the pride. Yeah, the Franklin are very upset about having lions around them again. Can't see where the other lioness has disappeared off to, but the other male is just behind us. Move the vehicle slightly so we can see both. Oh, he's going to walk in. How kind of him. Incredibly powerful animals. Now you can see even in these 2 males who are probably around the same age, you have a difference in the manes. You can see this guy's got a much hairier mane. He's even got some belly hair going on there, and elbow patch hair. So he's got a lot bigger and a darker mane than the other. And that's just variation, like some people have dark hair, some people are hairy, some people are not. So the same thing happens even in lions. Ephraim coming?
Yeah, what do you say about it?
If confirm you are interested in this Ngala sighting of Cheetah Catline.
No, I didn't come on the side. I think they want to try to put it on Gala, the section of Reed and Baruso.
Copy F. I don't know if you copied the update. I've got 2 my timbers and 2 sticks at that old Nisikaya off Cheetah Catline.
Oh, well done, but yeah. Close by Alcina.
Copy. So you just heard me on the radio there chatting to Ephraim, letting him know it's very important for us to have good communications with the other game drive vehicles, because we all help each other to find animals. And you can see they're really enjoying that hippo dung. So I'm going to zoot around, because I know there's another link into this old hyena den site here, so we can jump up in front of them. So hold on for a second, I'm going to go a little bit faster just so we can get there. So those of you who might have joined us late this morning, we've been tracking lion and leopard, and they've all been disappearing off our property, and we were heading now down to check our eastern boundary, and it was getting a bit cold as we went through the dip, and I wasn't concentrating. I was fiddling around trying to put my mitten on, and Brian was like, lion, next to us. And so we found the 2 timber males and 2 sticks lionesses. So very exciting. I haven't seen the sticks for quite a long time. I think the last time I saw the sticks lionesses was when Mvula was mating with Kwatile, and when they were hanging around Twin Dams for a couple of days. So here's the other little link. It's nice to have active cats rather than flat cats. Spot the net. I think it should be popping up around here. There we go. Wonderful when a plan comes together. And where the girls are, the boys must follow. Oh, full of the joy of life this morning. Just jumping around and playing. He stopped and looked at us again. You can see it wasn't us who scared her, she just got the joy of the morning in her. Where are the other lionesses? I think she's still behind.
What do you mean?
Very, very still morning. Even very few bird calls. Starting to warm up now. Hi Rena, welcome on the Sunrise Safari. Rena just wants to confirm she has 3 cubs. Rena, that is what I've heard from some of the other guides who have actually seen the cubs. I haven't seen them as yet. She's keeping them to the south of our Traverse area in the Mulwati drainage line. That is the last report I had. Apparently they're all still doing well, and that's the last report, that all 3 cubs were still alive the last time they were seen. Morning Angie, welcome on the Sunrise Safari. Angie would like to know, would the 2 Matimba males have been introduced to the cubs yet? Well Angie, I'm not 100% sure. As I said, we don't see these lions enough, but it is possible, but I think she probably will try to keep them away from the Matimbas till they're a little bit older. Male lions can do. Seen them eat their own cubs before, so I think they will keep them away till they're a bit older. So possibly not just yet. Well, it looks like the boys have slowed down a bit, so I think I'm going to try loop around to go see where the other 3 are. And there we go. Decisions now. How far back? I think he's going to get up and walk shortly, so I'm actually just going to wait here because the 2 females are just up ahead. And he's watching them quite intently. Morning Gilly, welcome on the Sunrise Safari. Gilly would like to know, are male lions front feet larger than their back feet? They are, Gilly, they are slightly larger, and obviously that's the front feet are used in hunting and in fighting, so they are slightly larger. Just give me a second guys, I'm going to have to chat on the Game Drive channel. I know there's a few vehicles making their way here. Ephraim, do you copy? Sorry, I just heard Orbs was he looking for a lineup for this position?
Yeah,
the lineup for this position is myself here, you making your way, space for 1.
Yeah, I think maybe the equipment can as well keep the one.
there's the jumping lioness, and then you can see the male and just lioness. And there is a male somewhere still behind us, but he's not on his way just yet. So, doing what lions do best now, after their huge hive of activity walking up and down the road, they have all decided to lie down. Incredibly lazy, well, not lazy animals, just the way they're designed. They have to sleep for 20 out of, they sleep for about 20 out of 24 hours. I can hear a lion coming right next to us. I just hear the footsteps in the grass. Hello. Actually been in an unfortunate spot once, sitting like this, with waiting for a male lion to pass us, and where we happened to stop was one of his favorite scent marking trees, and we got a blast of lion scent mark on us in the vehicle. It is quite interesting. As the second male walked up, the first male, who's lying with the lioness, started growling at him. So I think it is possible that lionesses are coming into estrus. He's moved now quite far away from where those two are sitting, and he's going to lie down in the shade there. So seen them ever feeding or mating, so I'm not 100% sure who is the most dominant of the two. General consensus is that with recent studies that the lion with the darker male is normally more dominant, and the blonder males are not, because the darker male indicates more testosterone in the tests that have been done. So, but now looking at this, it seems like the lighter of the two mains is the one growling and staying next to the female, but that could also possibly be that she's not quite in estrus yet, because there doesn't look like any mating activity, but it could be interesting when she comes into full estrus, whether the darker of the two males then becomes dominant and will fight and be more aggressive in maintaining that dominance. And for the moment, while it's not too much of a problem, because she isn't actually in estrus yet, he doesn't really mind. And I have seen that before, that in lions. I'm just going to sneak past you here, mister. No, tired kitty. Let's go have a look at the other two that are lying next to each other. No problem. Morning, guys. How are you doing?
Only two.
other Mafazi is lying over there. And the other Madonna is there.
Oh, the one day. It was nice. The other Mafazi, no Manjuana.
So while the lions are lying up and not doing much, we're going to cross back across to James, see what he's been up to, and then we'll be back with you a little later in the drive. So enjoy your time with James.
Welcome back to Wendy, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying the lions with Brent. He's had some great luck this morning and probably quite a lot of skill involved too. I'm playing chimpanzee at the moment. My hands are a bit cold and there's a lot of heat coming up off this termite mound. It's quite incredible. The termites have maintained a completely stable environment in their mound, and this is the newest sort of part of the castle, and inside it I can see it's wet. I can see one or two angry termites in there where I've disturbed them, and I'm going to see if I can pull one out and show it to you. There we go. We don't want him to disappear. Now this is a soldier termite. You can see it's got very large, or quite large mouth parts, but there are much bigger soldier termites in there with much bigger heads. The other termites are the workers, of course, and they're the ones that build. He looks like he's having a bit of a rough time. We'll put him back just now. The workers build those huge mounds. There are also two different kinds of workers. And it's this guy's job to defend the termite mound from people like me, or animals like me, that might otherwise disturb him. He will make a nasty hole in my hand if I am not quite careful. There we go. Anyway, so I mean there are millions and millions of termites in that huge mound. There we go. Millions of them in that mound, defending it from all manner of predators. The major predators for a termite mound like that, of course, are ants. I'm just going to put this fellow back. He's not very happy. And you can see, I'm not sure if you can see from there, but there's quite a lot of sort of bird dung over here, and that's from hornbills. Hornbills love to come and sit on these termite mounds in the early mornings when they can feel the heat coming off it. They can, after a chilly night, and they can stick their beaks in and pull out breakfast at will. This is a fungus-growing termite, or Macrotermes natalensis, and underneath here you will find enormous gardens of fungus where the termites will grow, cultivate fungus that they eat, and the fungus helps them to digest the lignin and cellulose in the wood and sort of dry grass that they choose as their food. But I wish you could come and feel the amazing heat coming off this termite mound and see the moisture. This termite, the tunnels of the termite mound will go right down to the water table, and so they're never short of water despite the dry season. There's also a wonderful earthy smell that comes off it. Right, in the meantime we'll carry on. We have been following some leopard tracks, and we'll see what we can see in that front, but the heat is starting, and it was one of the first. We used to think that human beings were the only primates or animals capable of using tools, and that was one of the first documented cases of other animals or other primates using tools. So you can find chimpanzees in Central Africa pulling the termites out on long sticks of grass and then eating them off and sort of dipping their sticks back into the termite mound. People in Africa do eat termites as well. They taste a little bit like peanut butter. Probably a little bit more spiky, depending on how you prepare them. So it's often been a question that people have asked of me as to, could you survive out here in the wild if somebody just dropped you off? And the answer is that without hunting it would be very difficult, because there aren't a huge number of edible tubers or fruits, especially at this time of year. But with things like termite mounds, you could certainly survive for a few weeks and certainly get enough protein if you could get at the termites and if you weren't too squeamish. Of course, further north of here you have the Mapani worm, which is people who are not from Africa tend to talk of it as an African delicacy. It's a caterpillar that people dry and eat throughout the year. Delicacy is quite a strong word for it. It tastes a little bit like gamey sawdust. But when fried up with enough garlic and salt, you don't really notice the taste. Very important source of protein, though, for a lot of rural people between here and northern Zambia. And before I put you all off your next meal, we're going to cross back to Brent, where the lions are on the move.